we were a little impatient that they weren't going hard into crypto. A new administration, a complete change from a regulatory point of view. They have taken off the gloves now, and it's going to be extremely exciting. I think it's going to accelerate the crypto movement in more the traditional financial world much faster now. I know all the banks are trying to figure out, how to participate. The market has been climbing this wall of worry, which should tell us something. We believe that President Trump, and believe me, I understand how chaotic and how crazy this environment has seemed to everyone. What will happen here is we're going to move, as we go through the second half of the year into next year, into a massive productivity-driven recovery and then expansion. It's pretty exciting.
With President Trump signing the Genius Act into law, the gloves are off, and the crypto market is about to explode. That's the latest message from ArkInvest CEO Cathie Wood. According to Cathie, we are heading into a productivity-driven expansion that could supercharge Bitcoin and digital assets like never before. After years of waiting, the financial revolution is finally here. The opportunity is now. Miss it, and you'll be left behind. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as Cathie Wood explains how this new act could trigger a massive surge in Bitcoin, what it means for institutional adoption, and why this moment could define the future of finance.
Starting the crypto week in the White House, we have the Trump administration, which is extremely bullish for Bitcoin. We have seen Bitcoin at $123,000. What do you think right now about Bitcoin? Where are we standing, actually?
Yes, I think what is happening here, it started with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We're very proud to have one of the largest here in the United States, ARKB. That began the institutionalization of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin market, and other crypto markets, other digital assets. And I think many people are now tuning into the arithmetic. I actually posted on X, math is math, and math is mathin'. And what that means is we're at right now roughly 21 million units, or Bitcoin, having been mined in history. And that number is only going up to 21 million. It cannot go beyond that. And so I think more people are doing the math and saying, oh my goodness, this is a new asset class. I, as an institution, don't have much exposure. Bitcoin has the most secure network, and it's taking advantage of three powerful revolutions. It's a technology revolution, really the next generation of the internet, putting the native currencies into the internet. The developers did not do this in the late 80s, early 90s, when they were evolving the internet, because they didn't know that finance and commerce would take place on the internet. So that's a revolution. It's a global rules-based monetary system, really the first one since the U.S. closed the gold window in 1971. That's a very big idea. And it is a new asset class, and it's that last phenomenon or revolution that is beginning to take hold now, because there's real scarcity value. 1 million more Bitcoin will be mined, and that's it. So scarcity value is scarcity value. And the most interesting thing about Bitcoin is after the halving last year, which means the supply growth of Bitcoin was cut in half to roughly 0.9% on average per year. That dropped the supply growth of Bitcoin below the long-term supply growth of gold. And a lot of people understand the scarcity value when it comes to gold.
We know your price target for Bitcoin for 2030 is actually at $2.4 million. You got any specific target for 2025?
So what I'd like first is to address the longer term target. So the number you mentioned, somewhere in the 2.4 to 2.9 million range, would be if investors were to use the optimal allocation towards Bitcoin based on its history. And that, of course, is a big number. I think it's close to 20%. No one's going to do that, at least not now. However, if you look at our big ideas 2025, you'll see that our bull case for Bitcoin in 2030 is closer to 1.5 million, still more than tenfold from where we are today. And our confidence has increased as the institutional interest has increased. We have an on-chain analytics expert, David Puel, who has 4 main indicators right now that are still pointing to a bull market. And we've just had a major breakout. I think many of the technicals were beginning to look a little iffy or shaky, and they have now been cleared. Those hurdles have been cleared. So we think that for the next year, that this bull market will remain intact.
With Bitcoin recently crossing $123,000 and the Trump administration now openly bullish on crypto, institutions are waking up. The rollout of spot ETFs dragged major funds off the sidelines and ushered in a huge wave of institutional capital. With the total supply permanently capped at 21 million coins, every new buyer pushes the price higher. ARK's target for 2030 is $1.5 million per coin. Under optimal allocation, it could even reach $2.9 million. For Cathie Wood, the real surge is only getting started.
President Trump and his administration made the decision to get all of the tough work from their point of view out as soon as possible. And so it's felt chaotic and on both sides in the United States and elsewhere in the world. I think the objective was by this fall to have tariffs, the tax package, and lots of deregulation in place so that the economy and the stock market would take off as we enter the campaign season for the midterm elections next year. President Trump does not want to be a lame duck. And he knows that he's going to be judged on 2 things. He judges himself on 2 things: the economy and the stock market. And we believe the equity market's beginning to understand this and has been rising. We call it a wall of worry throughout all of the chaos. We've seen markets around the world rising with the expectation, we think, that the economy is going to move out of what has been a rolling recession here in the United States into a rolling recovery that will pick up momentum thanks to new technologies that are exploding today. I mean, the ChatGPT moment launched it, but will drive productivity. So very healthy, real growth and low inflation. That's probably the biggest surprise. Many people associate real growth with inflation. History would suggest otherwise. The stronger the growth, the higher the productivity, the lower the inflation. So we think we're heading into really good times, but it's all part of a negotiation. And I think at the end of the day, when all is said and done, we're going to be very interested in learning how much of the tariff increases are offset by a drop in non-tariff trade barriers, allowing the free flow of goods much more than we have seen historically. So we don't have the full story. We know there's a huge negotiation taking place behind the scenes, and I think the market's just saying, all right, this is a negotiation. Let's see what finally happens, not just on the tariff front, but on the non-tariff trade barrier front, and how much this administration is or is not encouraging truly free and fair trade.
What do you think are actually the biggest risks, but also biggest opportunities for investors right now for the next 12 to 24 months?
Yes, well, we know that AI is here, and it is, we do not believe it's hype. We believe it's a profound technological revolution that's taking place. And of course, many people, when many investors, when they included or when they thought about AI, their first response was in the chip sector, so NVIDIA, TSM, and we think they'll be fine stocks, but we think the bigger opportunities, meaning they're not as well understood, are in the embodied AI space. And by that we mean AI as it impacts the physical world. We think the biggest application of AI is in the autonomous mobility realm. Many people know that as robotaxis. And we think that is, during the next 5 to 10 years, that will scale to an $8 to $10 trillion opportunity globally for the entire ecosystem.
After years of lobbying, crypto finally breaks into the mainstream with a bill that sets clear rules for stablecoins, the Genius Act. The Genius Act creates a clear legal framework for stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies tied to low-risk assets like the US dollar. These coins have grown rapidly in popularity because they offer price stability and are widely used to move money between crypto tokens without converting back to cash. Under the new law, stablecoins must be fully backed, one-to-one, by dollars or equivalent low-risk assets. The goal is to legitimize their use while protecting the financial system from instability. However, not everyone is on board. Skeptics warn that by giving legal backing to stablecoins, the bill could allow tech companies and crypto platforms to act like banks without following the same strict rules banks are required to follow. This means these companies could handle people's money while avoiding the regulations meant to protect consumers. Another major concern is what happens if a stablecoin company collapses. Right now, there are no clear rules about how customers would get their money back. If one of these firms failed, users could be caught in a legal mess with no guarantees of protection. Still, the bill passed with strong support from both sides of Congress. Nearly half of House Democrats joined Republicans in voting for it. And it's just one part of a bigger push. Whether you agree with it or not, one thing is clear. Crypto is no longer sitting on the sidelines. With the Genius Act, it's finally stepping into the legal and financial mainstream. Do you think this act is a good idea? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, guys, before we go, if you want to stay most up-to-date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 90,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it gave you some value. I'll see you all at the next one, and as always, all the best.